Hey, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Get Sweaty. I am, as usual, your host, Bork, joined by Big Fudge Ben Rayner, 50 Shades of Greek. God damn it, starts early.
You saw my big fat Greek wedding in our new intro done by 50, which was amazing.
Yes, it was. Yes, thank you for doing the new intro 50. And, of course, Sol Goivan. Fuck me.
Well, at least you got your own name right.
Okay, rewind. This isn't live, right, Matt? We're good?
Oh,
we can redo it?
It's a continuation of last night. Anyways, welcome back to joining us. It's going to be an interesting day. How are you guys all doing? You can tell I'm a mess already.
Well, as you can see, I'm in a different background. I'm over here in Marco Island. I had to go through a window to get into this house.
Yeah, I'm very impressed.
Maybe not say that on a live show.
Yeah.
Hey, I broke into my own house, people. I broke into my own house.
Yeah. See, you would have done the whole climbing thing. I would have been just like fucking broken a window. Pay for it later.
Hey, back in the day, I got into my house and we got talking to. I'm in there and done that.
When I was 14, this is the only time I've ever done it. I don't know how I did it, but I managed to break into my motel room with a paperclip because I forgot my key inside.
Nice.
I just random lock, stuck it in there, wiggled it around, and it opened. I've never been able to do it since.
That's one of the disadvantages I have of living in an apartment now. Because back when I lived in a house, if I forget the key, I just go climbing through the window. Right here, now I can't do that because it's a little high.
Yeah. See, if I get locked out, I just call my parents. Hey, can you let me into the house? Yeah, because I can't jump to the second floor. There's no way. Okay, so Ben, you want to introduce this week's topic? Because I am looking forward to diving into this.
Sure. Well, we've done movies, we've done TV, we've done a lot of other stuff. I would pick it up a little. Top 5 favorite meal.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting because I got a good feeling. No punts in this, and we're going to probably hear some meals from our backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I can tell you I've got a couple. So it's going to be fun. Ben, you want to kick it off?
I thought we were also going to eat our picks on camera. That's why I have this.
Well, it's 9:30 in the morning for me, and I can't have any of these at this time in the morning. Well, one, because it's in my freezer, but...
Okay.
All right, Ben, you want to kick it off?
Okay, so pizza. Yeah, any kind of pizza gets me going. I really like pizza.
Even Hawaiian?
You know what? That's the thing. I know they're a big debate. I don't know where it came from. And I can honestly say I have never tried pineapple on pizza.
One, it's worth a try once. And two, in our community, it's RB3's fault.
I will say, too, I'm a Hawaiian pizza fan as well.
Yeah.
Pineapple on pizza.
Yeah, it's not my favorite, but I won't say no to it. Like, it is a good pizza. It's just not my, not my top 5.
At least you're not a hater.
Yeah.
Matt.
I don't even think they even make pineapple on pizza where I live.
I've heard it's a Canadian invention. I'm not sure on that.
No, why isn't that surprising?
Hawaiian.
And then being from the Caribbean, we love all of those fruits like Island Nation. So bring on all those sweet fruit flavors. So, tomato is a fruit too. So like you have the pineapple and the tomato. It's 2 fruits. They go together.
Yeah. Well, what's everybody's favorite pizza topping then?
Mine's Hawaiian.
I'm pepperoni and cheese. Like I'm basic bitch as far as it goes on that. 50?
I like black olives. And if that's not available, corn.
Corn on pizza? Huh.
You don't have that?
I've never heard of corn on pizza before, no.
Wow, really? Well, at least I'm bringing something new to the table.
So when we go to Israel, we're going to get some corn pizza because I love corn.
Me too. Well, I prefer off the cob personally. What about you, Ben? What's your pizza choice?
Basil and white cheese. Tomato sauce.
Nice. Nice. At Boston Pizza, which I don't know if they have in the States, but they got this pizza that's called the spicy pierogi pizza. So it's got cactus cut potatoes, bacon, cheese, and then obviously your tomato sauce, and then it comes with like some sour cream so you can put on top of it.
The other pizza that I would say is my favorite, but it's at Mellow Mushrooms, which is not everywhere here in the States. And it's called Holy Shiitake Pizza. And it's shiitake mushrooms with a garlic aioli on top.
Nice.
And it's delicious.
You people know how to live.
Oh, yeah.
You people know how to make pizza.
If you give me a second, there's a pizza. I've only ever seen it here in Terrace at this local pizza parlor, and I'm not a big fan of this place except for this one pizza. It's called the Sawaiian Pizza. It's bacon, ham, pineapple, and lots of cheese.
Ooh, nice.
And it's just like it's dripping. Yeah. Oh. Okay, so my number 5 is the first of 3 French Canadian meals. It's called ragout au pâte de cochon. It translates to pork hock stew. So basically, it's a gravy sauce with some people put potatoes in there. My grandma doesn't, which is the way I prefer it. And then you've got meatballs in there. That's usually pork and like several other different types, like beef and several other different types of meat to make the meatballs. And then it's the meat off of a pork hock, a pork foot that's been boiled off into the meal, and then you serve it. So essentially, it's like French Canadian stew of sorts. And it's in my family, it's only ever served at Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really good. It actually, for a long time, it would have been my number 1, to be honest. But as I've gotten older, there's other things that I've eaten that I prefer better. But this is still one of my favorite. One of the things I look forward to every Christmas at Grandma's. And I almost passed out learning how to make it.
Oh, wow.
Well, taking the meat off the pork hock was a little too much.
So you like legitimately like old school from getting the meat off and everything. Oh,
yeah, my
nice.
grandma makes it all from scratch. It's just you boil the pork hock, and then once it's boiled enough, you just peel the meat right off.
How delicious!
It is, and everybody who was this and another one on my list. Everybody who I've introduced it to, I've fallen in love with the dish. Yeah,
Nice.
That's another thing I can't have because pork is illegal in my country.
Really, I didn't realize it was illegal.
We're not even allowed to raise pigs.
Really?
on
So you
Australian land. So, like, if you want to eat pork, you gotta go to these places where it's not kosher, and the people in charge don't know that these places exist.
could you have a pig as a pet? Like,
No, that's what I'm saying. You cannot.
yeah,
raise
like not even that.
Why? So because it's not kosher.
But I mean, like, for those like me who don't like, I just kind of have an idea what kosher is, but like, explain that to us if you don't mind.
Well, kosher is the proper way of eating as described in the Bible. So, like, we can't have lobsters or shrimp. Again, you have to find places that are kind of underground, not really underground, but just they don't follow the same kosher rule. And you have to find these types of things. You can't have like squids. Also, any fish. I believe the rule is every fish that doesn't have scales is considered not kosher or something like that. You also can only eat animals. There's a very specific rule that like they have to have a hoof that splits into 2, like cows and goats and such. So like you can't have horses. Not that I am craving for horse meat at the moment, but they have one.
Well, you could have a horse as a pet, right?
Yes, you can have that.
Yeah. So that's the part that like doesn't make sense to me, is not having a pig as a pet.
Like, why pigs?
It's because in the Bible it's described as a very gross animal, even though it's one of the cleanest animals ever. But the Bible has its own rules. But
yes, they do.
It's often described as how you call your enemies. Like you say, your enemies are like pigs. So that's like they're swine. That's why swine is such a vulgar word to some
Gotcha.
people. And also for animals, you can only eat animals that I'm not sure what the exact process is called in English, but they have this system where they can bring up their food from their stomach back into their throats and eat it again. And cows do that.
Well,
So that's why cows are allowed. And also, I believe under these rules, giraffes are also kosher. The reason why you don't eat giraffes where I come from is because the whole method of slaughtering the animal, which is a cruel method, cruel, even worse than the regular one, the kosher way of killing an animal, you have to slice it on the back of the ear next to the main artery and let all the blood come out while the animal is still alive, and then you can kill it to harvest the meat from it. And if you do try to do that with a giraffe, I mean, you need a ladder to get up there. So that's why you don't eat giraffes in Israel. But yeah,
I'm sorry I asked.
This is your fault, Matt. This is your fault.
to quote someone we all know, you did it to yourself.
Yeah, you're right. I did it to myself. I just want to end with this. It's amazing what people pick and choose they want to believe from the Bible. But anyways.
One final point.
Yeah.
Because some places here actually do serve pork just outside the kosher rules. Because they can't raise pigs on Israeli land, they literally have areas with raised platforms so the pigs never actually touch the land.
Ooh.
And that's how they get away with having pigs in Israel. It's a whole thing. I'm sorry I answered.
Okay, that one I actually enjoyed.
That one's funny.
The whole killing giraffe thing is a little much at this time of the morning. Sol, what is your number 5?
So my number 5, 50 wouldn't be able to eat. And that's so with me, I went about this like obviously like Cuban food is best food. I'm biased. So I wanted to pick something from all different places. So I kind of like picked one from, so I went from seafood chowder specifically from this restaurant called Steamers in Naples, Florida. And it's one of the most delicious soups. It's just all the seafood. It's in a creamy based soup. Like you have green onion on top, like as like the garnish. And it's just, all you need is that. You don't need anything else from this place. It's delicious.
Oh, it sounds like so good. It'd be worth the trip to the bathroom. I can't have creamy things, even though I still do.
But no, it's creamy and it's just all this. So like you have the shrimp and the mussels and the octopus and the like all the different seafood, and it's just.
I don't know if I'd be able to last in Israel because I love seafood so much.
Yeah,
like I said, there are places that serve seafood, just they're not kosher. So basically, if the people in charge of this whole ridiculous rule, if they wanted to close those restaurants down, they could, and no one's going to be able to stop them. They don't have the certificate for kosherness.
No, I do have a question about that. So, what happens if it's found out that you have eaten this stuff?
Well, you can't stop people from eating.
Okay,
obviously, but
because I was
they can put the kibosh on the places serving these things.
I think those rules are pretty shellfish. Anyways, 50.
That was shallow. Well, that was shallow. Okay, now, I believe that this is the first Middle Eastern dish on this list so far. And it's something that has recently risen in popularity over in the West, thanks to a certain movie franchise I'm certain all of you have heard about. A shawarma.
Still never had it, even though I love that scene.
Well, you should come here. This is one thing you should come over here to try, because I don't know how it's like in the States, but I have traveled to... What?
I was going to say shawarma and... gyro, whatever way people pronounce it. Are those the same thing, just different names, or are they
you mean gyro?
Different thing? Yeah, gyro.
I'm not sure what you're referring to though, because
gyro.
Gyro. Let me just look it up because I don't think that. Hold on. Gyro. I had my keyboard set to Hebrew again.
I'm sorry for pausing the show for this.
No worries.
They look the same, I think. Hold on.
Yeah.
They do look the same, yeah.
This one in particular looks more like tacos.
Oh my god. 50, if you could only see my screen, that is the exact same picture I have up.
But this almost made it on my list. This is in my honorable mention. And I hear that they're kind of the same thing, but kind of not. Some people say. So
I never tried what you're referring to, but this is what I'm referring to.
Yeah, no, it's like the lamb off of that, and they cut it off. It's so good.
So
I've actually seen how this whole process is happening. Sometimes it's the lamb. Sometimes, in most cases, it's chicken or turkey. But basically, they take these little pieces of meat, they impale them over on top of each other, like hundreds of these on top of each other, condense it to give it this kind of condensed looking shape. And they put it on these oven like things with flames on them, and let it
looks like
spin around.
Looks like where you get the doner meat from.
Well, that's also I saw some of these in Turkey. They're called doner. Doner is Turkish for spinning.
And then they also do stuff like that in Mexico for their tacos. Some of their meats are like that. Like they'll do their al pastor like that, where it's on top of each other with the impaling the meat and stacking it on top of each other like that, and having it spin around.
Basically, I just quickly Googled what's the difference between the two, and basically it comes down to the meat is the difference.
Okay.
So according to Spoon University, the main difference between shawarma and gyro is the meat. Unlike gyros, the packed down shawarma meat can be anything from chicken to lamb to veal to goat. Unlike the gyro, shawarma never has tzatziki sauce, which would detract from the flavor of the methodically marinated meat. So basically, it just comes down to what's in the meat.
Okay. And that they use tzatziki sauce for gyro.
Oh, well then.
And then some, people depending where you're from, they pronounce it differently. Like you get gyro, giro, hiro. Like they pronounce the G like an H, depending on where you are.
Nice.
Well, around here, shawarma is shawarma, no matter how you pronounce it.
I have always wanted to try it.
If you ever come to Israel, I'll take you to a nice place. It's mostly run by Arabs, but they have the best shawarma in my city. And arguably the best one I've ever tasted. Also, they use the best hummus I've ever tasted. It's great, and they're very cheap, and you get a lot with the meal. Like that's the one of the best traits about Arabs is they're very, very generous with their food. Like you sit down in an Arab or Druze restaurant, you order one thing, you get basically 20 other things without having to pay for it. Their hospitality is amazing. You just sit down, they pass by and just drop some more salad, some more chips, some more whatever. I mean, you get basically a table that can feed an entire family just for one person. It's amazing. I gotta take you to one of those places.
Speaking my language, man. Speaking my language.
You should also try this restaurant in, I believe it's called Pki'in. I think it's either that one or Dalet Karem up north. Best food you're ever going to taste. It's it's this nice, sweet old Druze grandmother and her grandson. They run their own restaurants, and the word "kiss the chef" is thrown around a lot lately. This time, first of all, they come out and literally sit down with you and talk to you during the meal.
Oh,
you actually want to get up and kiss them because you love the food so much. It's so great.
Oh, damn. If I was a millionaire, man, I would travel the world and try all the different delicacies, and that would definitely be one of them.
No.
Talk to Josh McCouga about that.
Yes, sir. Ben, you're number 4, please.
My list is really basic. I like a good old. Whenever I go out in Chinese, I like a good old-fashioned lo mein. And then chicken, shrimp, vegetable, any kind of lo mein I like.
Lo mein is awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. I'm more of a chow mein guy personally, but lo mein is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah. And yeah.
So when it comes to your Chinese food, are you like me, where it's like, bring me enough MSG to kill an elephant?
Bring it to me. Bring it to me.
Yeah, I know it's bad for you, but goddamn, it adds great taste.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and if you want to hear a funny stand-up bit on that, look up John Panett's "Show Me the Buffet" stand-up album. He's got a great bit about Chinese buffets. Just putting that out there.
Yeah. What are you number for, Matt?
So this was, speaking of Josh McCouga, this is actually one of his recipes, and he went on in 2019 on Cooking with Greggy on the Kind of Funny show, and he put us a video called "How to Make Pasta Carbonara." Every person I've made this for has claimed it's been a hit every time I've made it. It's pasta. The meat is bacon, so no chicken in it. It's bacon. There's a whole freaking thing of bacon just chopped. Eggs to sauce everything in. Parmesan cheese, dry wine to add a little bit of flavor. And what's funny, it's even better as a leftover because everything's been sitting and marinating overnight, right? Oh,
that's all pastas. All pastas are better the second day, especially when you put it with the sauce. If you have the sauce and the pasta and you put it in the fridge overnight, the pasta will marinate in that juice, and it's better the next day.
Based on the recipe, it's enough to make like 2 meals out of. Like, it is so good, so good. I will post a link in our chat, and then I'll put it at the end of this video afterwards, because I recommend everybody should try to make it. 50, you might have to find an alternative meat, but hey, it is definitely worth it. Just worth the making it. Yeah, that's my number 4.
So my number 4, I think in English it's called skirt steak, but in but in Spanish, churrasco is the name of it. So CHURRASCO, churrasco. And oh my gosh, is it delicious. You can have it by itself. You can put it in a taco. You can typically we'll eat it like with some rice and beans on the side as our side dishes. You can have it in a salad.
Yeah, so basically it's steak that's used for those type of purposes, a specific type of steak. Yeah.
And the steak is just it's delicious. And you marinate it in some mojo and like some sazon completa, which is complete seasoning, and you just cook it on the grill. So good.
Yeah, steak is one of my favorite things to make. I make it at least twice a week.
Steak is delicious.
How do you guys all like your steaks?
Steak is good. Steak is life.
Yes, it is. Oh, how do you guys prefer your steaks cooked?
Rare to medium rare. I like it red, and I like it pink, and I like it juicy.
Oh yeah.
Well, Matt, you said you're a basic bitch. I like it well done. Sorry.
Hey.
And my mom says that I'm basically betraying my Argentinian heritage by not eating it rare, but I don't care. I like what I like.
Me too.
And our Argentinians do a lot of churrasco as well with their steak. But with me, I like it medium well. Yeah. Like in between medium and medium well is where I'm at.
If it's anywhere from medium rare to well, I'll eat it. I could care as long as I don't I've had blue rare before. Not the biggest fan of it. It's got to at least have some cook to it. Blue rare is just being on the grill long enough to change the color.
Yeah, it's literally you go, turn it over, done.
Basically, you're eating what came off the ass of a cow straight.
Yeah. You cook it just long enough to be considered cooked to not have the bacteria of rare steak. Just a
yeah.
Not going to lie. It sounds interesting.
Yeah, that is similar, close to like how you like it. Yeah. My dad's like 50. He likes it where it's just like there's no juice left.
Nah, it needs to be a little juicy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Exactly.
Love the juice.
And you want to? This is when my friend told me this a long time ago. I didn't believe him until I tried it. Blue cheese salad dressing on a steak. Yeah.
What? Okay.
Another thing good to put on churrasco is if you have a chimichurri sauce. It's
My mom
Nice.
calls it pritzi pritzi because it sounds cool. It sounds funnier.
Nice.
Matt, you said earlier you almost passed out making the ham hock thing.
Yeah.
I passed out making a steak, and the reason for that is because I might have left it a little too long on the cooker, and I almost passed out from smoke inhalation. And that was when I remembered that I should have opened the windows before starting to do that. But
You think?
never learned.
No smoke alarm in the place? Wow, that's funny. So I bought this thing like when my company just changed owners, and now we're changing like hardware companies, and so a lot of stuff was on great discounts. So I bought this tabletop grill, and in it, it's got a little cavity where you can put wood chips in them for the flavor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I can't wait to test that out. I'm gonna go get some wood chips tonight and test it out.
So we're all going to Israel to go eat shawarma, and then we're gonna go to British Columbia to go have steak with Matt.
Yeah, steak and my number one, which is my specialty.
We are all steak.
I want to ask you guys, what do you like with this steak? What is the perfect side dish?
Oh fuck.
I would say I would go in moro y maduros. So I would have moro is rice and black beans. The black beans is cooked with the rice, and so the rice is black, and then you have the black beans with it. So like it's different. You can either have rice and black beans where they're cooked separately, then put together. Moro is they're cooked at the same time. So the beans and the rice are cooked at the same time.
Oh, nice.
And then maduros is sweet plantains.
Okay. Those are
I'm
pretty good.
I'm a potato fan, so like mashed potato, chips, potatoes sliced up into little cubes. I'll take that with a steak. But
Yeah,
rice sounds good as well. I tried it a couple of times.
I'm either basically a salad or mashed potatoes or French fries.
I mean, all good. All good things.
What about you, Ben?
Quick question: have you ever tried chips and mashed potatoes?
Have you ever tried chips in a sandwich? There we go.
Yeah.
Mashed potatoes and corn on the cup. You can go.
There to the chips thing. There is, I don't know if they're still open, but there was a restaurant shop not too far from where I lived in Vancouver called Big Star Sandwiches. If you paid $2 extra, they would put I don't know if they have them outside of Canada. They're called hickory sticks. It's basically like little stick chips with like various different types of seasonings. They will put that in your sandwich for you for like $2 extra.
It's pricey. You say sandwich, the literal 2 pieces of bread as a sandwich, or just
2 pieces of bread. You know, your lettuce, your meats, your sauces, like a sandwich. Yeah.
because around here, I mean, you ask like schnitzel in a little small bun. They put chips in theirs too. So I was wondering. I suppose that does come as chips.
Is schnitzel in Israel the same as schnitzel in Germany?
I assume it is. I don't know what the German schnitzel is, but hold on.
Because I had schnitzel when I was in Germany, and even though that is not one of my choices, that's also very yummy.
I don't think I've ever had true schnitzel.
But while 50's looking at that, Ben, what's your number 3?
Yeah.
Wait, I was skipping mine.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is in Germany as well.
I thought schnitzel was a sausage.
Nope.
Nice. Okay.
I've been lied to. Okay, so my number 4, oddly enough, is something that I came up with on my own.
Oh.
Now, my mom, like, it's like a thing like for every Friday night, in not just my household, but all of Israel. That's when we celebrate the Sabbath. That's when the Sabbath comes in, and so like the Sabbath dinner is like a huge deal over here. So like that's one of my honorable mentions from last week. I mentioned the show Sabri Maranan. basically that's what they do with every single episode. The whole family comes and gets together for the Friday Sabbath dinner. So in my household, every week it's a roast, a chicken with some mashed potatoes. Now, since I've started living on my own, I obviously had to make these on my own. So I basically discovered a very specific recipe for myself. And by very specific, I mean I just take all kinds of spices and seasonings and just throw them all onto the chicken and put it into the oven for like an hour and a half or 2 hours.
Mm.
And it comes out gloriously.
Delish.
I should have made some and take a picture, but I forgot. But oh well.
Mm.
But I just want to say the best. Sometimes your favorite meals are the ones you learn how to make on your own.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. Okay, Ben.
Good classic hamburger with lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, and sauce.
No cheese, no bacon?
I don't like cheese and bacon on my hamburger. I'm weird.
Sacrilege.
I know, I'm weird.
With me, all my burgers have to be cheeseburgers.
Same.
It doesn't need bacon, but it does need the cheese.
Nah, me, it's cheese and bacon all the way on my burgers. How about you, 50?
I like to eat one without the vegetables, but I do like bacon and eggs on the.
Oh yeah,
an
surprisingly,
egg,
that's a
good.
good
I like
combination.
as many animals on the same burger. The same.
Nice.
Egg definitely is great. My burger I get, so it's a cheeseburger with lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, and then grilled mushroom, grilled onions.
Yeah, me without the onions most of the time. But I will say a good sauteed onion is a good sauteed onion. I'm similar. Lettuce, tomato, I could do without either. Ketchup, mayonnaise, mustard, and then cheese, bacon, of course, seasoning on the patty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, you're number 3, Matt.
Okay, so this is my second French Canadian dish. It is called a tourtière, which is basically a meat pie.
Okay.
So this is what it is. It's everybody does it differently. This is another one where my grandma, when she makes it, several different types of meat in there. The difference between this picture and my grandma's is there's no onions. It's just straight meat, homemade pie crust. Oh, it's again another Christmas treat for us. And my grandma every year now started making me like little individual meat pies so I can have them at home.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's what's funny is growing up, this is one where it's like everyone in my family loved it, but I was like, ew, gross. But then when I hit like 21, I was like, this is the best thing ever. And ketchup is like the way to go most of the time. Me, I like salt and pepper on it. Just basic salt and pepper.
Now, do you have it with like a fork and knife, or do you...
Oh yeah, you eat it like you would a piece of pie.
Okay.
Yeah, so like at Christmas, so you'd have this, you'd have ragu, you'd have mashed potatoes, you'd have turkey, which again, salt and pepper on turkey, it's the only way I like it. I wish I had a picture of my plate the last Christmas, but yeah, it was just all these awesome. It was basically a meat plate.
It sounds delicious.
Yeah, and this is another one where I introduced it to my friends around Christmas time, and they're almost like, "Holy shit!"
I think that's one that I actually did try.
Yeah, and you can get them in stores now in Canada, maybe in the States as well, but it's just not the same. It's one of those homemade is the best way to go.
Always.
Yeah. With a lot of the dishes we've mentioned on this show.
Yeah. Okay, so Sol.
So my number 3 is pad Sau, which is pad Thai but with the wide noodles. And the wide noodles make the difference, man. And it's delicious. So, like, most people know pad Thai, but if you're going to go to a Thai restaurant, I highly recommend trying the pad Sau, which is PAD, and then the second word Sa is SA, and the third word EW. Pad Sau,
good.
Delicious.
My mom loves pad Thai. I never tried it. Every time we eat Chinese, I usually get chicken and tempura, which they basically take chicken and dip it in a special sort of oil with some sum on it. It's great. Did I say sum? I meant sesame.
Yeah.
I switched into Hebrew for a second there, but sesame seeds all over it. It's like you said, delish.
Delicious. But yeah, so definitely, if you like pad thai, try this out because it's
I'll
delicious.
let my mom know about this.
That sounds good. Okay,
50-year number 3.
yeah, your next one.
Okay, my number 3 is the reason I needed to get up earlier because I have a picture of it. I just couldn't really pull it, so I had to kind of disconnect my mic in order to do that. But here it is. It is, again, a very Israeli thing. It is a couscous. This is more or less what it looks like. This is something that my grandmother made. I took this to my grandmother's place. It is, well, these little grains-ish, but you got like hummus in here. There's some potatoes, some pumpkins, all kinds of vegetables, and it is great. It's a very traditionally Israeli thing. Sorry, traditionally Jewish thing that, and then ironically enough, it's number 3. That's the main dish for Tuesdays, which is the 3rd day of the week.
I know that they do couscous in Morocco as well.
Yeah, there's all kinds of styles for couscous. My grandmother is Turkish, but my grandfather was Moroccan, so they kind of combined the two styles to make that wonderful, wonderful dish you saw. My mom, however, she has a different approach to couscous, which, unlike what you saw over there, where that's a plate of grains and you put a little bit of the soup on it with the vegetables on it. My mom makes it a little bit differently. Is she makes the soup and puts a little bowl of soup, puts some couscous in it to give it some more weight. So there's all kinds of different styles. I definitely prefer the way my grandmother makes it, but my mom's version is the one that I'm going because I don't think I'm good enough of a cook to make what my grandmother is. So I'm just going the easy route.
And that's the way too with like a lot of dishes. Cuban foods, you can eat it either where it's the soup and you put the rice in the soup, or you put the rice and then you put a little bit of soup over it. So like that's kind of a thing you could do either way. So it makes sense that like that's also with other cultures as well. There's soupy or saucy things. You can either have it as a soup or you can have it as a sauce.
I've never had couscous, so
it's yummy. It's yummy.
It's good.
it looks yummy. That's again small town syndrome here. That's something I don't think you'll ever see in a restaurant here. When I was a kid, I just never went to a restaurant that had it.
If you ever come to Israel, I'll take you to my grandmother, and she's gonna make you some couscous.
Yes, please, Grandma 50.
Yeah, yeah. With her, meals are always in like 3 different stages. Get the first stage, second stage, and third stage, and the second stage is usually my number 2, my number 1. Sorry, on this list, but there's always a couscous whenever she makes.
Very nice.
Like the third stage of the
Okay, Ben.
Spaghetti with tomato and basil sauce with some basil smash on it.
Oh, no meat?
No meat. I'm not I mean that I like that too, but I prefer it with no meat.
Gotcha. I'm on the other side. I'm a meat sauce kind of guy with all the stuff you said, but with ground beef in there.
Yeah, I was like, put some ground beef in there or have meatballs.
Yes.
Yeah. And nothing, almost nothing beats that. My number 1.
Matt and I are. It's a good thing that we're like on the same side of the screen because we're team meat. We're like, put all the meat on the plate.
Yeah. What about you?
And me, like
you can't
as
eat all
many
of the meat.
animals on the burger as possible.
Yeah, but you can't eat all of the meats because of where you live.
Yeah, but there are other types of meat you can put in there too. Exotic meat.
Giraffe.
They can't tell me what to eat in my household. Only when I go out to eat.
Oh, okay.
And also, there, like I said, there are places that sell meat, the pork meat, to make at home. As a matter of fact, I may or may not live close to one of those places. Just wanted to point that out.
Very, very nice.
So don't shout them out on the internet, 50.
I didn't say anything. I said may or may not. I'm being
Now-
as vague as possible.
With or without garlic toast? I'm with, even though I can't have garlic.
Well,
Like I like garlic toast, but I don't need it. Like I typically like when we make spaghetti, we don't ever make garlic toast with it. The only
really?
time I have garlic toast is if I have spaghetti at a restaurant because
Oh,
they'll
yeah.
serve it with.
There's nothing
Yeah.
like mixing it up and then dipping your garlic bread in it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
like we definitely like scoop like the sauce with like bread or stuff,
Yeah.
but yeah.
you know, I
I'm
think
not a
that
fan.
that-
Not a fan of garlic bread. Whenever we order something and we get garlic bread as part of the meal, I always give it to someone else. Like,
Oh.
not a fan of
Yeah,
it.
I'm a fan of garlic in general, so
I'm not, and I also can't have it, so it balances out. Like, I mean, I like it on the garlic bread, and like if it's hidden somewhere in it, but I actually cannot have. My body does not react well with garlic. Ben, what were you about to say?
I mean, I'm not saying I take that garlic toast, and I really like to dip my bread in garlic sauce.
Oh, yeah.
so then Matt, you're number 2.
Okay, so this is one of those. I've only had it a couple times. It was when I went to Quebec 4 years ago. I can't remember how long it was ago last time I went there. But anyways, it's you go to any mom and pop restaurant, and this is the meal that's there. It obviously varies from restaurant to restaurant, but it's called pizza déjeuner, which is literally breakfast pizza. So I'm gonna bring up a picture of it.
I've heard about breakfast pizza in Canada.
Yeah. So I guess it's only an Eastern Canada thing, but yeah, basically it's your eggs, onions, and whatever breakfast meats you want in there, bacon, sausage, whatever. The one I had, which is the one I fell in love with, had hollandaise sauce on it. Yeah, and so yeah, you go to any mom and pop restaurant in Quebec, you get that. It comes, which is weird, but in Quebec, every dish comes with like a side of beans.
How very British of them.
I know, it's really, really weird. But yeah,
you got to keep that connection to England some way, right?
it's ridiculous. Yeah. I don't know if it's so high on my list because at this point it's been so long since I've had it. It's almost like mythologized in my mind. But it's one of the most amazing things I've ever had at a restaurant. I wish I could have it every day of my life.
Shout out to a fellow Canadian friend of ours, Ryko, who's
Yep.
part of Outlaw Nation. He lives in Toronto. He's talked about breakfast pizza over in
Yeah,
Toronto.
and like I said, it varies from place to place. But the one I fell in love with had hollandaise sauce on it. It was so good. Yeah. And it was like 2 blocks from my cousin's place. So it was awesome.
Nice.
Okay, so what is your number 2?
So my number 2, we're traveling to India with this one. So it's chicken korma.
Ooh.
I love chicken korma. I've really been like eating more Indian food lately, and but it's like this orange cashew coconut sauce. It's not too spicy. It's with chicken. It's served over rice, and so yeah, you just got the chicken with that creamy sauce over rice. Delicious.
Nice.
You get some naan bread, and you eat it with the sauce and soak up the sauce and stuff. So good.
That does sound good. Again, another thing I've never heard of or had.
See, I eat a lot of different cultures' foods, so I try to do that because like there's so much good food in the world, and I'm a
Diversify your
foodie.
taste.
Yeah, I'm a foodie. I want to go and explore and take. Like when I was in Germany, my friends' parents were like, "Do you want to eat American food or German food?" And I was like, "German food. I'm here in Germany. Let's actually eat."
When in Rome,
Right. And German food was delicious too. Like, and you don't think, "Oh, great food," when you think of Germany, and like the food over there was really yummy.
I got a question, Salt. Have you ever been to Britain?
Mm-mm.
Good, because the Brits no
Yeah,
offense,
they're known for
Chris
their
or
food.
Darren, they do not know how to cook. Like me and my mom, when we went to London, we went to McDonald's for food
Well,
because British.
if I went to England, I would probably go to like an Indian restaurant or a Middle Eastern
Yeah,
restaurant
you're
because
better off. Like
because there's a lot of Indians and Middle Easterns, especially like in London and in certain areas. So like that's where I would go, or some like African restaurant.
yeah, but make sure you find the right one because me and my mom we wanted a shawarma. Like I said, we love the shawarmas. We saw shawarma and like we just looked at it and we said nope. Like we asked if there's because we eat. Some people like to eat shawarma in a lavage or lafa, as we say. Didn't have those. They only had a pita bread, and you saw me eating a pita at the beginning of the show. You saw I grabbed it by the hand, right?
Mhm.
We asked if you can see the pita. The pita was like this big. The restaurant we saw, and it's like, what the hell are you supposed to put in something this small? Anyways, so yeah, food from other countries is always best in Britain. No offense again to Drunken Prayer or Darren or all of our British
I'm
friends.
sure they will agree.
Yeah, your food sucks, and I tried.
Bogz talks about it all the time because Bogz is half Indian and half, I think, Somalian. But he goes that he grew up eating British food at school, and then now as an adult, he is not forced to eat British food, so he does not eat British food, and he lives in England.
I took the risk. I tried the famous fish and chips that they're always talking about. What a barf-inducing dish that was!
You want good fish and chips? Go to a fishing community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have fish and chips, you need to be like a town that's off the water where you can see the fishermen like literally fishing.
Yeah.
If I want fish and chips where I live, I drive 2 hours to Prince Rupert and go to Dolly's restaurant.
Fish and chips here in Florida is really good because we live off the water.
Yeah, you're surrounded by water. Yeah.
I suddenly want to eat fish and chips in Husavik, the town from Eurovision, the movie.
Which was nominated for Best Original Song.
Yeah.
As it should.
But 50, you're number 2.
My number 2 is, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been in communication with my mom. I tried to acquire pictures, but couldn't find one, and I apologize for that. Meatballs, but very specific ones that my mom makes. I can't share it without any pictures, but it's very specific meatballs. She put like grounded meat. She puts it in a mix with rice to make the balls. Ooh. And she stuffs the meatballs inside peppers or potatoes, and it's incredible. It is I like to call it her signature dish. That it's like, and I think she might have sent me a text just now, but she makes the best meatballs I ever tasted. Now, obviously, you go to meatballs in other restaurants and other people's meatballs, they can't compare. Maybe it's because she's my mom and I grew up eating that, so maybe I have that in my head. But yeah, I'll try to get her to send some pictures for our group chat so you guys can see what I'm talking about.
I've never heard of rice and meatballs, like rice but that sounds super interesting. I'm gonna have to try that.
I should have thought ahead. I should have made some, even though I'm not even a quarter as good of a cook as my mom is. But I should have made some and took a picture for this thing. But I didn't have the time to do that this week.
Next time I make meatballs, I'm gonna make some rice and I'm gonna try it out. Your mom should send the recipe out so that way I can try it out over here.
I'll talk to her about it.
Nice. Okay, so honorable mention time. I'm just gonna say that I actually don't have any honorable mentions this week.
Yeah. Ben, do you have any honorable mentions?
There were so many I couldn't choose one, so I said screw it. I'll just do a straight top 5.
You're on mute.
Sorry about that. I have a few. Tacos, salmon, and a classic, but a good one, peanut butter and jelly.
Okay. And my honorable mention, I also have tacos. Like I said before, all Cuban food. It's all delicious.
Just all
All
of it.
Cuban food. All of it. All of it. And then I have again the gyro, but I should try shawarma. It'd probably be up there for me as well. And then my aunt's matzo ball soup. She's Jewish, and she takes 2 days to cook the soup. So like she starts it the day before, and then we have every Jewish holiday, around Hanukkah. She'll make it like for any special occasion. When my cousin graduated college, she made the matzo ball soup. It is so good. It's delicious.
You just reminded me. It's Passover next week. I'm getting myself some matzo balls.
That's right. It is coming up
That is the holiday for matzo balls. And my other grandmother, the Argentinian one, she makes incredible matzo balls. I can't wait for those.
I've never had
sad
matzo
part-
ball in my life.
And the sad part is because of 2020 and COVID, I've had 0 matzo ball soup in 2020 because I haven't been able to see my aunt.
Yeah, but think about it this way. Now your urge for the matzo ball soup is even greater, and it's going to be even more satisfying. Like I'm in the same boat. I didn't have any matzo balls last Passover because that was when COVID started. Now, we already talked about we're going to be we're all vaccinated, by the way. We are going to have a nice socially distanced Seder over at my grandmother's. But yeah,
I'm not Jewish, but I celebrate all the Jewish holidays because part of my family's Jewish, and so we go over to their house to celebrate with them, and it's a lot of fun.
Nice.
And the best part of some of those holidays is the food.
Yes, 100%.
Best reason to celebrate. Okay, so my honorable mention, I have 2 honorable mentions. One was Ben's number 5, which is pizza, because why not? It's pizza. I mean, I once saw this funny quote: "You can't make everybody happy. You're not a pizza."
Yeah.
And my second honorable mention is the falafel, of course. Now this is what I'm talking about. This is a pita. This is a mess. This is what a pita looks like, not this tiny little thing that the British people try to sell me. So yeah, the falafel, the signature national food of Israel, even though it came from Egypt, but never mind. It's a very Israeli thing for like food courts that sell falafel, that they always give you a little extra because they want you obviously to be happy with your meal and they want you to come back. So like while you're standing in line waiting for like a shawarma or the falafel or the steak or whatever, while they're making your meal, they grab a falafel with those metal things that you take food with. Yeah, those. Sorry. They take some falafel and they bring it up to you. Here, take one while you're waiting. It's hot. Here, grab it. And they order some chips. They put some falafel in the chips just to make you happy. It's a very Israeli thing to like satisfy the customer by just take a falafel. I got one extra.
Yeah, nice.
Make a bit of a joke.
I need to go to Israel. I need to.
You know how in the turkey ice cream stuff, the guy's playing with the ice cream cone, he gives you and then takes it away. The Israelis do the same thing, but they just give you an extra falafel bowl. And I will say, a little bit of a tease, that might actually be part of a gaming mechanic in the fan game that I'm designing based after Israel. That might be a bit of a game mechanic that involves falafel. Just saying.
Very nice. We'll touch a home.
I can tell you all off camera what it is.
I've never heard I've heard of matzo ball soup or whatever. I had to look it up because I'm like, there's no way you make a soup with matzo balls. And I was thinking mozzarella balls. I'm like, why would you make? I was gladly mistaken on that.
That's why I said it's a Passover dish.
Yeah.
Passover is when you eat pizzas.
Yeah, that makes so much more sense now.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Okay, Ben. Drum roll, please. You're number 1.
Sushi. Any kind of sushi. Taco, animal. What is it called? sashimi, anything sushi, I love everything. I could have it every day and I could be happy for the rest of my life.
I'm not quite there with you on the everyday thing, but I
Yeah.
do love to eat some
I do
sushi.
love sushi.
I mean, every day is an exaggeration, of course, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Tried
no,
it once, didn't like it. I'm sorry.
well, yeah, it all depends on where you get it.
Not quite
Yeah,
taste.
that there's bad sushi out
Yeah.
there that really
Most
when
store
you
bought.
have when you have bad sushi, you're just like, ugh.
Yeah.
So I hope that like maybe like trying some good sushi, it'll change your mind. But yeah,
I'm not
bad
saying that the sushi I tried was bad. Just I'm not a fan of the sticky rice thing with the kelp around it and the raw fish. I wasn't a fan of that.
there's some cooked fish ones.
Yeah.
You might like the
Oh.
cooked ones.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me know.
Like I would you can't have it, but I love eel, which you can only eat eel cooked.
Eel on
There's
sushi.
eel sushi.
Yes, and it's so good.
Yeah,
God.
yeah, eel on sushi is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
barbecued eel.
think I ever heard it here, so maybe I can't find it.
My favorite thing to get from our local sushi place is called a volcano roll, but it's designed to look like a volcano with all the trimmings and like a chipotle sauce on it. So good. Regular the normal size plate is enough to fill you up.
Right.
I like dragon rolls, and I like any eel roll.
Yeah.
I'm not that big on cream cheese and sushi though. Like that's
Me neither.
yeah.
Sushi with seaweed wrap or without? I prefer without.
Either or.
I'm a soy picker.
I didn't like the sushi the seaweed wrap, so I'll try it again. I'll try it without that one.
Yeah, and like I said, don't go store bought.
No.
Some of it's
And
okay.
there's some sushi too that they call it like the low carb sushi, which it's instead of having rice, it's cucumber rolls.
Yeah.
So the outside is cucumber, and then inside is all the regular stuff that you get in the sushi, but it's without the sticky rice and without the seaweed wrapping.
What's the point without the rice?
But is it still considered sushi without those two though?
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like sushi and has all the sushi stuff in the middle.
No,
A veggie burger looks like a hamburger. It is not a hamburger.
I'm willing to try anything once.
Right? Same.
Yeah. Okay, so my number one is the most basic thing on my list: chicken wings. My dad likes to joke that one day I will turn into a chicken wing with the amount of chicken wings I consume, and I make my own. I do like stuff from restaurants, but a couple years ago I was off work for a month because I had to have surgery on my nose, so I taught myself how to make breaded chicken wings.
Oh, nice.
And then from there, I stopped doing the breaded stuff, and I just make my own style chicken wings. There are various different seasonings. There's Parmesan garlic seasoning that's really good on it. Any Southwest seasoning. My personal favorite, Lynch's honey mustard with a little bit of hot sauce to make the wet chicken wing. I bake it in the oven for half an hour, and then I deep fry the wings for 2 minutes to give it that extra crisp.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, and so I make that at least twice a week. Like that's how much I love chicken wings. I'm
twice a week you have steak, and twice a week you have chicken wings.
Yeah, pretty much. For what the other day is what chicken wings are to me.
Matt, you have to send me pictures, and then we do that.
I will. I'm going to be making some tomorrow night because I every Sunday night I make it usually because there's a pay-per-view or something like that. So that's my meal. I will definitely take a picture and send it into our group chat tomorrow.
Nice.
I have something to say that you're not going to be a fan of. I enjoy chicken wings, but they're my least favorite part of, my second least favorite part of the chicken because it's a lot of work with very little reward. There's very little meat on those bones. That's why I always prefer the legs or the breast or whatever. But
see, I'm a dark meat kind of gal, so chicken wing, the legs, any of that, like any of the dark meat, I'm for it.
Any part of the chicken except for the neck.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of the neck.
Yeah.
The neck makes great chicken soup, though. You don't have to.
That's what I've heard. That's what I've
Thank you
heard.
for that.
Yeah, no. It is the most flavorful soup you'll do. Like in Miami, you can buy just the chicken necks, and then you'll put that and make the soup out of it, and then you'll take the chicken neck out of it. So it doesn't actually have any chicken in the soup, but like the bone, the chicken neck bone, and the meat, that the little bit of meat that is there is used to make the soup, the broth.
My stepdad loves the necks, so every time you buy a full chicken, break it apart, I always give him the neck and keep the rest for myself.
Yeah.
In my place.
You can also buy just the chicken feet for the same thing. You can make just chicken feet broth as well here in Miami.
Also, I was gonna say, going back to chicken wings, me and my mom have this little joke. Like whenever we make some food, we look over at like where we put all the meat, and my mom's like, "Oh, there's an extra wing left. Do you want it?" And I'm like, "What? Am I supposed to fly in circles now with only one wing?"
Okay, so you're number one.
My number 150 cannot have it at all, and that's lechon asado. It is pork, the way that we make our pork. Sorry, 50.
Get back in here.
And so you marinate it the night before in the mojo, in the seasoning. You put it into the fridge. We have this any celebration that we have, you make it, and then we cook it in the oven because that's just easier way to do it. But oh my God, is it so good? It's just that you pull it apart. You take the fat on the top, and then you make a chicharrone out of it. The pork rinds, like homemade pork rinds. With it, it's so good. You could put it in a sandwich the next day with some cheese on top. Lechon. It's so good. The original way to make it is you would dig a hole in your backyard and you'd put banana leaves around it, and then you put it in the hole and you'd cook it in the ground. That's the traditional way. Never done that. The way some people do is they buy this thing called a caja china, which is literally called Chinese box. And it's this box that you cook it in, and you cook the whole pig. So like from snout to like tail in there. So like there's some Cuban parties, like you'll go to a party and you'll see like the whole pig cooked on the table, like face and everything.
Yeah, like at a luau. Oh.
Yeah, but we typically just get a part of that pig, and then we cook it in the oven because you can't fit the whole pig in the oven. And it's also a lot of meat. So typically when you get a full pig, it's because you're gonna have 50 plus people at your party. Like, sorry, 50.
Don't you put me back in unless I want to.
Fine.
But oh my God, pig is delicious. Pork is delicious. Lechon. My mom's lechon. So good.
I do love me some good pork tenderloin, pork chops. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm done. 50.
I'm coming back on my own terms. But yeah, that's the one thing my mom always says when we're talking about, like, when we try to find places that actually sell this stuff. What's the main thing my mom always says? In the pig, you eat everything. Yeah. From the legs, the feet, the nose, the tail, the ears. Every single piece of the pig is everything. Every piece of an animal is edible, but you cook every part of the pig. And I'm fine with the ribs we're getting here and the places where we go to, and I'm not going to mention them by name, obviously, but I'm fine with the limited amount of pig that I'm able to acquire on my end. But for my number one, we're going back to my grandmother, the Turkish one, not the Argentinian one. And again, this is something that I can't really explain without pictures that I don't have at the moment because she hasn't made them in a while because she's getting up in years and it takes a little bit of work. But it's peas. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's peas the way that she makes them with some, I don't know, magic sauce. That it tastes like heaven. She also puts these meatballs that she makes. That's one of the main reason she doesn't do it anymore. It takes a lot of it takes a lot of on her hands to make those meatballs. But that peas recipe with the meatballs. I mean, she tried telling her children. She tried telling my mom about it. She tried telling a lot of different people how to make it properly. No one else can do it other than her. It's like often duplicated but never replicated. It's again, if she ever gets back to doing those again, she only right now because it's hard for her to do it. She only does it in really really special occasions. So if that ever happens again, I'll take a picture and send it to you guys. And I wish I could send the flavors to you, but it's that's not possible.
Is she gonna do some for Passover?
No, it's not really a Passover specific dish, but for let's say for times like I haven't seen her in a long time because of COVID and stuff, she went out of her way and actually made it. But that's what she considers special occasions. She, myself included, I don't consider Passover or holidays specifically these types of events. But
okay, well that brings down. Well, it's about half hour till lunch for me, so it's perfect time for me to be hungry.
It's way past lunchtime for me, so I'm gonna get some food right after this.
It's dinner time for me.
Yeah. So my turn to choose next week's topic. So it's not going to be another movie thing or music or anything like that. This is one I've always been thinking about ever since I became older and started thinking about these type of things. It is the 5 people you would like to sit down and have a conversation with from history.
Ooh.
It could be from whatever. It could be a civil rights activist. It could be an actor, a playwright, a musician. You name it, nothing is off the table except for animated characters.
Aw, come on. So you mean I can't sit down and talk with Simba?
There it is.
How? Why are you doing this to me?
Because you can sit down and have a conversation with Matthew Broderick about being Simba.
That's not as cool as talking to actual Simba.
Close your eyes and imagine a lion.
This is a hard one, Matt.
I know.
This is a very hard one. I love it, but it's super hard.
Yeah, it is. And it's like, I know there's probably a couple that, if you think about them, might be a little problematic. Not for... I'm just going to give one out there. Charlie Chaplin. Mm-hmm. I love his movies. The dude is a comedic genius, but obviously he had a lot of the things that happened in his private life would be considered probably part of the Me Too movement nowadays. Yeah. Not to the extreme of some people, but definitely would.
You're going down there and bring that to me off camera. I know nothing about that.
Okay, I'll send you his Wikipedia profile. It'll give you an idea. But for the spoilers, he will be on my list. Not for all the personal stuff, but because the dude was a comedic genius.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, that means I'm not going to have him on my list, but how about somebody like Bill Cosby?
If you want, just as long as you preface that you are understanding that, a lot of the shit these people did, if they do end up on your list, were problematic, but there are other aspects of their like I said with Charlie Chaplin, for me it would be like to pick his comedic brain for how he used comedy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm obviously not going to have Adolf Hitler on my list, but the dude was a pretty good artist.
Yeah.
Just so people are not all bad.
No, some are like Hitler's like 99.9% bad.
Yeah.
The 0.1 is like the art.
She's not going to be on my list.
Fun of them.
She's not going to be on my list, but the watch the movie Downfall. It's a German film. The final secretary of Adolf Hitler, who her in her older age, which she's no longer living, like bookends the movie, and she talks about how like she was ignorant to what was actually going on and what was happening to the Jewish people. So to her, it was just like Hitler was a super nice guy, and she was just in the bunker there, just working for someone who she respected. And so it's a very interesting movie, because then you see kind of like at the end like how much she like internalized, like how did I not know about this, and that how much like hate she gave herself for being that ignorant.
Yeah, so I mean,
a lot of the people from the Nazi Party did what they did out of ignorance, because Hitler was a great speaker. He was a great talker. He was able to convince a lot of people to do what they did.
Yeah.
Which kind of mirrors, I'm not going to say it, but kind of mirrors someone we all are very familiar with. But yeah, no, nothing is off the table, but if it comes to somebody like that, like I would rather it be more specifically like a specific thing. Like I said, Chaplin would be comedy. You know, he's not going to be on a list, but Hitler or something like that. It just has to be a specific thing. If you don't want to include it, that's fine. Whatever.
And there's something too about something fascinating on trying to understand the mindset of someone who is just so terrible.
Yeah.
Like you want to know, like, how the hell did you get to that point? There's something fascinating about that too.
There is. So yeah, that's my topic for next week.
I love that topic.
Yeah, I love it too. It's gonna be so hard, but I love it.
Yeah, yeah, and like honestly, I think Charlie Chaplin would be the only one close to being problematic on my list. Because while he would fall in the Me Too category, it compared to like a Harvey Weinstein or anything like that, it's literally nothing. He just was looking for love in all the wrong places. Yeah.
A little bit like William Moulton Marsden.
Yeah, kind of. No. Charlie Chaplin, more his proclivity was he was going after younger women. He had married a few of them before they were of age, like particularly the one who gave birth to his first two children. He had to go to Mexico to marry her because she was 17. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so on that note, Soul, where can everybody find you?
You can find me at SoulGovan on Twitter, at soul.k.govan on Instagram. You can find me later tonight on John Roca's channel for the Ultimate Showdown After Show. We're going to have Janine the Machine on, Eric Zipper, and, who's our third person? Lacey from Star Wars. So she's going to be on. So go check that out.
Right on. And 50.
You can find me on my channel, 50 Shades of Geek. You can find me pulling my hairs out mentally, trying to finish on Twitch, beating Pokemon Shield with only a Shedinja. It is frustrating, but I take all that frustration and turning into smaller episodes on my gaming channel, 50 Shades of Gaming. And like I mentioned earlier, you can check out my Patreon, patreon.com/Pokemon Star Crossing Crescent. I'm designing a Pokemon game based on Israel. You might see some falafel make its way into the game. You might see some shawarma making the way into the game. Who knows? You might see some of the people who are going to be on my next week's list make their way into the game. Just a little bit of a team. So yeah, join the Patreon. I just received some new artwork stuff, and I cannot wait to share with people because it's some of my favorite stuff that I've done for this game.
Okay, and Ben.
You can find me here every Sunday on every Tuesday on Shooting the Breeze and that here. Every Friday on Camping and Tap. Every Saturday on Run Here Get City. And every Saturday on Mount Showdown where we go into players' careers. And today we have two guests. One, the rookie is Paige. And we're very honored to have like kid guest starring on paneling on our episode today. Brandon the Meyer the kid.
Brendan the Meyer kid.
Yeah, so definitely go check that out, guys. It's going to be a great episode. The kid from I haven't had communication with him, but from Luce, the kid sounds like he's pretty excited to be on. So definitely check that out. And then with me, you can find me on everything that Ben had said on this channel, and obviously on the other channel, Schmoes of the North, where last night we had a live show breaking down last night's pay-per-view. We're also going to be going live tomorrow night, I believe at 9 or 9:30 Pacific time. Myself, Ben, and Ryan from Mount Schmodown. We're going to be breaking down the matches for this upcoming week. So definitely check that out. And of course, Soda _ Saxman for all your, if you want to follow us, nobody special. So thank you very much for joining us. And don't forget, everybody, stay sweaty, smash cancer, and we will see you next week.
Smash cancer.